Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We just found out about a really cool Ahsoka Episode 5 deleted scene from the Anakin Skywalker parts of the episode, so we'll break it all down. I saw people expecting them to put this on the Blu-ray when they release that next year, but I don't think that they're going to do that, just because they've been releasing the physical media for The Mandalorian, the other Star Wars series, and we haven't seen a lot of deleted scenes on those yet. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm doing videos for all the Ahsoka episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get them. We're also doing a giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter that is just be a subscriber and post all your favorite moments from Anakin Skywalker on the video. But there is a ton of stuff that gets cut from all the live-action Star Wars series like The Mandalorian, so it's no surprise that they shot a lot more Anakin Skywalker scenes for the Ahsoka episode that got cut at the last minute. This deleted scene would have happened towards the end of their flashback fight scenes when they were on Mandalore during the events of the Clone Wars Season 7. That final siege of Mandalore, Anakin tells Ahsoka he doesn't remember the battle because he wasn't there during the actual event, because it was happening at the same time Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi were rescuing Emperor Palpatine at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. The end of the Clone Wars Season 7 episodes were meant to overlap with Revenge of the Sith and show you what happened during Order 66 during all those events from Ahsoka and the clones' perspective like Rex. That was one of the reasons why they had the Rex flashback cameo scene too, because he was there when that was happening and he was a big part of Ahsoka's experience during Order 66. In their flashback, after young Ahsoka gets frustrated again about the events of Order 66 and Anakin turning into Darth Vader, he says she's learned nothing, like, oh, you're still mad about that whole Darth Vader thing? She's focusing only on the Darth Vader of it all and hasn't been able to get past it all these years.
Far more Anakin, but more powerful and dangerous than anyone realized.
Is that what this is about?
Anakin starts fighting her again, giving her the life or death choice, only this time he's fighting her with his original lightsaber hilt, but the Kyber crystal has started to bleed red, so it's Darth Vader versus Ahsoka, a bit of a callback to their fight during Star Wars Rebels. During the fight, his eyes turn Sith yellow. He's meant to look more like he did during that final battle in Revenge of the Sith on Mustafar with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And in the original version of the scenes we saw in Episode 5, he just kicks the older Ahsoka back into the world between worlds and they continue their fight. Here's where the bigger deleted scene starts. What he did in the original version of the deleted scene is that he kicks the younger Ahsoka from Mandalore into the future on Mustafar, which happened shortly after Order 66. Just charting Ahsoka's timeline in the Clone Wars finale, it would have happened right after her ship crashed and she visited the clone troopers' graves, leaving her last remaining lightsaber behind to trick the Emperor into thinking that she died and then went into hiding in the Outer Rim. The Ahsoka Episode 5 deleted scene was meant to be a what-if scenario, like type of alternate reality scene. What if Ahsoka came to Mustafar when he was fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi instead of running into the Outer Rim to hide and leaving her last lightsaber behind? So was Ariana Greenblatt's younger Ahsoka, because Anakin's fight on Mustafar happened shortly after the final siege of Mandalore, so it was still the younger version of her character. The Anakin versus Ahsoka fight just continues on Mustafar in the lava flows there, with Anakin looking exactly like he did during Revenge of the Sith, having gone full Sith. Emperor Palpatine had already named him Darth Vader, but he didn't have the armor yet, like he hadn't been scarred by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Some of the things this Ahsoka Mustafar scene was also meant to pay off was Anakin having the red lightsaber on Mustafar. That's why they had that during the episode. The whole idea is that originally when George Lucas was making Revenge of the Sith, he wanted Anakin to be fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi with his red lightsaber on Mustafar. There were a bunch of deleted scenes that were just released about this, like we're just learning about this in present day years after Revenge of the Sith came out. There had originally been a much longer Revenge of the Sith deleted scene showing how Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader, got his red lightsaber.
What have I done?
I will do whatever you ask.
Good.
Right after the scene where he kills Mace Windu and Palpatine names him Darth Vader the Sith, Palpatine was going to take Anakin to one of his Sith lairs deep underneath Coruscant in the lower sub-levels. We briefly visited the lower levels during Andor, but the ancient parts of the city extend even lower than that, like it goes way, way further. That's where Palpatine's Sith temple would have been. Most people who learned about this believe that the Sith temple was meant to be deep below the Jedi temple, and it was meant to be part of the reason why Palpatine was able to use the dark side of the Force to cloud the Jedi Council's vision so much, basically stopping them from sensing the fact that Palpatine was a Sith Lord standing in front of them for all these years, like right in front of your faces. Why didn't you notice him? Because he was using the dark side of the Force. Definitely would have made more sense if he had constructed a Sith temple deep, deep below the Jedi temple and just kept it active 24/7, and that's why Yoda didn't sense Emperor Palpatine until the very last minute. Normally you would expect somebody on the Jedi Council to be like, wait a minute, isn't there like a Sith Lord just like standing out there right in the open? Shouldn't we do something about that? And just completely preventing his rise from ever happening in the first place. And in this Revenge of the Sith deleted scene, Palpatine takes Anakin, now Darth Vader, to his Sith temple, and in one of the chambers, he has a red kyber crystal. Palpatine orders the newly minted Darth Vader to use the red crystal to create a new lightsaber and use it to humiliate and destroy the Jedi. Anakin places the red kyber crystal in his new Darth Vader lightsaber, ignites the blade, and the red glow illuminates his eyes, which turn a menacing Sith yellow. Now remember, in the theatrical cut of Revenge of the Sith, his eyes were already yellow when he first went to Mustafar to kill the Emperor's collaborators inside the Separatist fleet.
All droid units must shut down immediately.
Very good, my lord.
Part of the deleted scene where he constructs his new red lightsaber were meant to show how his eyes turned Sith yellow. This also explained why in the deleted scenes that we got from Revenge of the Sith, that Anakin Skywalker fought Obi-Wan Kenobi with a red lightsaber on Mustafar, not blue like the theatrical cut. Some of the Darth Vader comics that Marvel published a little while ago also dealt with him constructing his red lightsaber in a slightly different way, so they kind of changed things after the fact, after this deleted scene that George Lucas originally envisioned. But in the new Ahsoka Episode 5 deleted scene of Anakin and Ahsoka's fight on Mustafar, Dave Filoni was going to pay off this older deleted scene that we had been robbed of. And I believe in the new version of the scene that Ahsoka was seeing Anakin had defeated Obi-Wan Kenobi, so it would also been like a what-if situation, what if Anakin won on Mustafar instead of losing to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then during this new version of the Ahsoka versus Anakin fight, he kicks her back into the world between worlds. So there was like a whole lot of stuff going on in this deleted scene, and one of the reasons why I think Dave Filoni cut it from the episode is that it made things way more confusing just in general. But in the final version that we just watched on Disney+, Dave Filoni just cut it so that it looks like Anakin is kicking her from Mandalore back to the world between worlds. There were so many people after Episode 5 who were just confused in general about what Anakin's lesson to Ahsoka was supposed to be like. What was the point of all their flashbacks? What was he trying to teach her? Their fight on Mustafar would have made it just way, way more confusing. Would have been super cool to see, though. Dave Filoni also probably cut it for budgetary reasons. The reason most of the Star Wars live-action episodes, Mandalorian, Andor, everything from all the shows are so short in runtime is mostly a budget thing because there's so many special effects, visual effects just driving their costs way up, like millions and millions of dollars just to add a couple extra seconds of screen time. That's why you always hear people complaining, why are these Marvel episodes so short? Why are these Star Wars episodes so short? It's all because of budget, for the most part. They probably filmed the Mustafar scene, then cut it before they spent a couple more $1 million of post-production visual effects polishing it, like it got cut during their previous stage before it went to special effects. It also seems like that's when the Revenge of the Sith deleted scene of him building his red lightsaber in the alternate Mustafar fight got cut. That's why it looks like PS2 graphics that we're actually seeing in present day. Marvel does this kind of thing all the time. They'll delete scenes like this before they get polished in post-production, like Banner turning into Professor Hulk during Avengers Infinity War. That's why it looks so janky, because they basically cut it early in the process. There's probably like an extra 15 minutes of Anakin Skywalker that they just messed around with and then cut at the last minute. Let me know in the comments if you would have rather Dave Filoni kept that deleted scene in the Ahsoka episode. It would have made the episode a few minutes longer, but I don't think that they're going to release it online, just because I don't think that they've finished the episode in post-production. But I also don't think this is the last time we've seen Anakin Skywalker return. I think we'll get at least one more Anakin Skywalker cameo scene before the finale, but early theory right now, it'll be Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker cameo scene, like the end of Obi-Wan Kenobi with Qui-Gon Jinn showing up. Like it'll be Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker coming to give Ahsoka another pep talk, helping drive her into the events of the Thrawn movie, because we know he's coming back to the galaxy. So the New Republic, the Ahsoka characters are going to take a huge L at the end of the season, no matter what. The other big reminder, too, is that The Mandalorian Season 4 is meant to take place right after Ahsoka Season 1, and that'll be like the last thing that happens before the Thrawn movie, so part of the end of Ahsoka will push into the beginning of Mandalorian Season 4. That's why we saw all the scenes of the Shadow Council during The Mandalorian Season 3. That's like the crossover plot with what's happening on Ahsoka right now.
Grand Admiral Thrawn's return will herald in the reemergence of our military and provide Commandant Hutz enough time to deliver on Project Necromancer.
By the end of The Mandalorian Season 4, his war against the New Republic should have started, and then they'll just like pick up at the beginning of the Thrawn movie, kind of like they did at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, in the middle of a giant battle. Right after watching Ahsoka Episode 5 with all these Anakin flashbacks, don't you kind of want Dave Filoni to do a live-action Clone Wars movie? Like they kind of skip from Attack of the Clones, where the Clone Wars began, right after that to Revenge of the Sith. Like they completely skipped the Clone Wars and then covered it on the TV show. Shouldn't we do a live-action version of the actual Clone Wars? I know there are a lot of questions about what the other main characters are doing right now while this stuff on Ahsoka's happening. That'll be answered mostly during The Mandalorian Season 4. Like, what is Grogu doing right now? What's Mando, what are the rest of the Mandalorians doing right now? Shouldn't they be helping Ahsoka? What is Luke Skywalker doing right now? Some of that they might leave to answer for the Thrawn movies, but expect more answers about all this during The Mandalorian Season 4. That probably will not release till like the very end of next year or like early 2025, depending on when all the strike stuff gets figured out. For those of you asking about Ahsoka Season 2, they did start work on that, like early work right before the strike, but I don't think the scripts have been written, so that probably wouldn't release till like after the Thrawn movie, or at least after The Mandalorian Season 4 at some time. But the big report right now is that they've already soft renewed Ahsoka for Season 2. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that. My full Ahsoka Episode 6 video will post next week after they release it. We'll get way more Thrawn, more Ezra Bridger, since most of the rest of the Ahsoka episodes will be concerned with what's happening in that other galaxy. Click here for that video. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my Ahsoka episodes. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and this is the way.